Hey folks, Mad Dog and Merrill here. It's Midwest Grilling. We're going to have a great time here today.
Yes, we are, sir. I'm excited.
Are you fired up?
I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
Well, we are at the Bridgeport Waterfront Resort in Sturgeon Bay. What a gorgeous view out here. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll show you some sights of that. We've got the Wisconsin Pork Association with us. You're going to do some pulled beef sandwiches.
Pulled beef today,
That'll
sir.
knock my socks off.
Yes, it will. It will knock your
Should
socks
be a
off.
good time. So sit back, relax, enjoy the presents. We'll be right back.
If you have a comment or suggestion about today's show, contact us at maddogandmerrill.com. And don't forget to friend us on Facebook.
Well, welcome back to Mad Dog and Merrill's Midwest Grilling. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, we're going to have a wonderful show today. We got a lot of great recipes. Special guests, I'll tell you what, my special guest today is Merrill.
I'm a special guest.
You're my special guest today.
I always wanted to be a special guest on this show. Thanks for having me.
I always wanted to be a special guest.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know who my special guest is today? Mad Dog.
All right.
Hey, thanks for being on the show today.
Does that mean we really get to do some outdoor grilling today?
We're going to do some outdoor grilling. You know what? I mean, the most important thing, we're doing Midwest grilling today.
Yeah, we are. We're doing some wonderful pork from the Wisconsin Pork Association.
Yes.
You'll be doing your pulled beef recipe.
Right.
And you know, a little bit later in the show, we're going to visit with Cherry Delight.
Oh, good.
In Forestville, right up here in Door County, right where we're situated in the heart of Door County in Sturgeon Bay. They're in Forestville, a little bit over by Algoma way. But there, we're doing some wonderful, beautiful pork tenderloin on the grill. And what we're going to do with those pork tenderloins is we're simply going to take a little bit of oil.
All right.
And we're going to glisten with an oil all the pork products before we put them on the grill, because if we don't, they're going to dry out.
That's right. This is very important. I know that we've talked about this before, but you want to oil the meat product. Very important.
And you know what? As I oil this, my hands are full of oil. I'm going to also do my pork steak, because those are going to go in a great recipe a little bit later on. So just not to confuse folks, we are going to oil every cut of meat before we put them on the grill here today, including Merrill's beef that he has on the grill. We'll talk about in a minute. So I'm going to oil those cuts of meat, and choices are good for grillologists. Choices are really good. So my choice of spice today, I think, is right in the middle. It's Mad Dog's Grillin' Magic.
It is magic, and he's grilling too.
A lot of great garlic, a lot of great pepper, a lot of good flavors inside of there. Just the right amount of sodium to zest it up a tad bit. So we're going to season both sides of both the pork steak and the pork tenderloin. Now the pork tenderloin for Cherry Delight, I seared those up, and we made a wonderful sweet and sour glaze you got to stay tuned for. But you've got some wonderful beef we're doing.
Hey, beef.
We're going to switch to beef.
You know, and I want to talk about Midwest grilling, because that's what this show's all about. You're not going to see Bobby Flay doing a chuck roast on the grill. But
has Bobby Flay ever flung his mitt?
No, he hasn't, because he can't fling his mitt.
No.
But I'll tell you what,
not like he used to.
No, but he could fling a chuck roast, but not quite as good as we can.
Yeah.
Chuck roast is very good. Number one, it's very economical and easy to do. I'm going to show you a couple different ways how we're going to be doing the chuck roast today. Now, I went ahead, oiled mine first with a little bit of olive oil.
Yes, you did.
All right, and of course, I used Hazel's rub.
Grandma Hazel's.
Grandma Hazel's. Good old Grandma Hazel.
Yep.
She taught me this rub.
There's a lot of history to Grandma
There
Hazel's.
is. I'll have to get into that later, but yes, there is.
A glass of wine and a shot of Geritol every morning. She lived to be a 91.
98, sir.
90.
God love her soul. And I'll tell you, this recipe, I actually used this with a little bit of burgundy wine. Could you imagine that? Put that on a
I was
beef
just
roast?
thinking what happened if you did 2 shots of each.
Oh, I'll bet you. I think she didn't tell anybody, that's for sure. But okay.
I know you Irish.
Hey, we've taken this chuck roast, oiled it, seasoned it quite heavily, and browned the ever-living daylights out of it. If you want to, you can even brown a lot heavier than what I have right here. But this is all what you're going to need to do, because we're going to set this back on the grill.
An 8.5 by 11-inch aluminum drip pan.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. Now, if I want to, I'm going to add a little bit of beer, or I could add some beef broth on this. And if I'd like to, which I already have on the grill, I could go ahead and seal this up with aluminum foil.
Sure.
Place that on the grill, let it go for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. Make sure that there's moisture in the pan. All right?
Grill cam?
Grill cam. You can poke. See that? And see how that's caramelized on there?
It's bubbling.
It's bubbling. You want that to caramelize. What's going to happen? We're going to be able to just to pull that right apart, and then we'll put some Hollywood Wolf barbecue sauce on there, which will make that just shred.
And then we're going to put them in our go dog buns.
And then we're going to go. But we're staying here right now.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So you could do it that way if you'd like to, but I'm going to create actually sort of a pot roast. All right, something a little bit different.
Kind of reminds me of the 70s.
Yes, it does. I've got some greens, speaking of the 70s, but we got some cabbage in here. I've got some good old carrots, and I've got some onions, all right?
Excuse me,
Spanish onions.
in my wallet here, I got a little cabbage.
You
for
do have a little cabbage. That's all you got.
Okay,
Just a little cabbage.
come on.
All right,
What
so
do we got?
anyway, we're just going to place this completely way
Carrots,
on
cabbage, and onions.
the top. Yeah, and if you wanted to, you could put potatoes
Oh,
on there.
stop, that's
Oh,
too
you
much.
keep on going.
Stop,
No.
stop, that's
We're going
too
to
much.
stack this up high.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to stack, and I don't care if it falls over, because what we're going to do now is going to
I'm your cuz.
Oh, you are my cuz.
And your special guest.
Yes, and my special guest. A stick of butter. Wisconsin butter. None of this margarine stuff.
How
We're
much
talking
Worcestershire?
butter.
Can I put the Worcestershire
Yeah,
on?
put a couple dabs of Worcestershire sauce on there. Now, let's go with some brown gravy mix, if you like. Sprinkle that a little bit on the top. I knew he was going to do that. I just knew it. I just knew it.
When does the beer come in?
Oh, right, it's coming. Oh, that's quite all right. Dried onion soup mix. Now, if you like, you can do a whole packet if you like. You can even put 2 sticks of butter. I got some people, 2 sticks of butter. I'm like, gosh, I'm watching my cholesterol. Hey, who's watching their cholesterol?
You're talking Midwest Grilln. I've seen Merrill do this recipe 7, 8, 12 times.
Yep.
Honest to goodness, when we do the unveiling over there, it shrinks down to nothing,
Oh.
but it's so rich, so you really do have to pile it up.
I know.
I was just joking. Pile it up.
Well, I like that W sauce. I'm going to buy that. That's cheaper than the cologne I use. That's good. All right, now here's another thing. We're going to use beer, but you know what we're going to use? We're going to use a microbrew beer.
You can't use micro.
Oh, yeah, I love these chefs. You can't use microbrew beers. Well, I'm going to show you. I'm using one right now. I'm using a pale ale. Now, what's great is the yeast is so good in there. It's going to pull all the juices and the flavor in there. Voila. You don't smell so good.
I had a cousin Ellie who was pale ale.
Well, see, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
you
this
need
is
a little
to him.
sun.
Okay. Now, I'm going to pour a whole bottle of beer on this baby. Okay, because you're going to need moisture.
A little
here.
at a time.
A little at a time. I would definitely start out with a 6-pack. Very important, because you want to make sure you don't lose moisture. Now we're going to cover it, sir. I'm going to need your help on this, because I'm going to cover both sides on this. There you go. Crank it in.
Both
All right.
sides, the top and the bottom?
Top and the bottom. Okay. Now, shall we do the unveiling just to show them how this really turns out?
Yeah, because I got some stuff to do. I want to
Oh,
show
I'm sorry.
Oh, I got some great stuff.
You should have told me. I would have.
No, I'm gonna go out for a walk.
I would have been a lot quicker. Now look at this.
No, I told you to
Cameraman,
go slow because we had a lot of
There you go. Look at this, folks. This
I
is
know.
actually falling right apart.
That's the grill cam.
That's the grill cam. You can leave this on 2.5 hours just to make sure there's moisture. Look at that cabbage in there. You got carrots. Ooh la la, we're going to eat well today, all right?
Well, you know
I'm
what?
all set.
Where's my? I had a chart.
Where is it?
I had a chart. What'd you do with the chart? I had a chart of all the cuts of meat on a pork, on a pig, on a hog.
I made a boat out of it.
You made a boat out of my chart?
Yeah, look
Turn
cute.
sideways. Turn sideways.
Sideways.
Show the folks. Here's a pig's tail. This is a pig. Thank you. This right here,
Yeah.
this area right in here. You see
Yeah.
this area right here, folks? That's a fresh shank. Now,
Is that a
put that in,
muscle?
no, it's a fresh shank.
Oh,
you
I don't have
put
to
that
show
in
my
a smoke,
shanks?
or you have smoked shank. You
Uh-huh.
see this roast up here, the shoulder roast up
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
That's what they make sausages out of. That's
Okay.
for ground pork. That's for blade steak. Turn
Oh.
around just a tad bit. You see this strap back right here, this nice
Yeah.
loin of back?
Yeah.
That's the loin roast.
Oh,
that's
good.
baby
Show 'em
back
again.
ribs.
Show them that again. Show them that. Yeah, I show them a little bit harder just to. Oh, there.
That's baby
There.
back ribs, that's country style ribs,
Yeah.
that's chops, that's tenderloin, and that's the
Yeah.
crown roast down below. Now turn just a tad bit this way here. You see this area right in here?
I can't
That's
see it.
bacon, folks. That's bacon.
Oh, I'll tell you, making bacon.
And you know it's called Louisiana style ribs, the regular spare ribs.
Oh, yes,
That's where
sir.
the regular back ribs come from back here. Spare ribs come from up here around the belly. Now turn a little bit this way here, but not too, folks, to make
Okay.
the folks sick.
Okay.
This right here, the butt portion, that's fresh ham and smoked ham. That's where we get our smoked hams from.
I've
right
never
there.
been a fresh ham before.
Well, I'll tell you what, now that we know the different cuts of pork,
Yes.
we talked a little bit about beef, we're going to sit back, we're going to relax, we're going to get some stuff done, so you stay tuned, we'll be right back.
All right, sounds good to me. Hey, Mad Dog, why did the turkey cross the road?
I don't know, Merrill. Why did the turkey cross the road?
Because he's not chicken.
View past episodes of our show by going to maddogandmerrill.com and click on Midwest Grillin'.
Mad Dog and Merrill here, and we're in the heart of cherry country. Cherry Delight in Forestville, Wisconsin since 1987. Great cherries, dried cherry juices, chocolate-covered cherries. We're going to find all about it today. Great cherries. And today with us is Jen. Hey, Jen, good to see you there, dear. Thanks for having us.
Thanks
This
for
is
coming.
my
Yes,
good
thanks for
friend
being
Merrill.
with us, Jen. Good to see you. Got a nice smile. That's good to see that smile. I love that. You've been eating your cherries. That's great.
You know, we're going to do a nice sweet and sour glaze today, and I think we got to get started a tad bit on that so I get the sauce going as we talk a little bit about cherries and the health benefits here at Cherry Delight. We did some nice, beautiful pork tenderloin, Jen.
Looks good.
And I have some cherry juice in here, about a cup and a half of cherry juice. I got some peppers in there, and we're simply going to add some of your wonderful Cherry Delight heart cherries. We'll talk about those in a minute. And I've got 3-4 other ingredients to add, and as I stir those and get those going, we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce in there, just a few tablespoons of soy sauce. The tartness is going to be, of course, besides the cherry, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of ginger to give us some wonderful flavor, maybe a good tablespoon or so of ginger, a little scant tablespoon of ginger over the top of that. And before I add the thickener, I just want to give that a little stir. I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch. About a tablespoon?
About a tablespoon.
About a tablespoon, thank you. And this looks like to be about 2 tablespoons, doesn't it?
Yes.
So probably half of that?
Probably.
Smart man. You took math.
Good
You
at
took
math.
math, Jen.
Very good
Oh,
at
he's
math.
an intelligent man.
And all we're going to do is kind of let that thicken a tad bit and then pour it over the beautiful pork tenderloin over the bed of rice.
Sounds good
And the
to me.
recipes are on your website. We'll get to that in a tad bit. Let's talk a little bit about Cherry Delight. Since 1987, Mike and Kathy.
Mike and Kathy Johnson have owned it.
Yep.
They started out with just a little Ronco food dehydrator, drying some
Really?
cherries.
Just
in
one
a
of those
cedar.
little small little
Just a
jobbers?
little, found it at a garage sale for $5.
And they've expanded from that?
Keep talking about that and tell us a little bit about how they're dehydrated now. Let me go get that dehydrator.
Okay, he can do that. He can go because I can't believe that. So they start out with the small dehydrator.
Small little dehydrator they started out with. Now they're up to anywhere from 500,000 pounds to 1 million pounds of cherries that they process a year.
Really?
This is the original
I know. Do you
That's
think
the
they
one.
have any idea? Can you imagine? You know what, honey? We could buy some cherries and we could send them all over the United States and all over the world would be successful, and it worked, didn't it?
It worked.
And this is what's amazing. How
it's
many
amazing.
pounds? How many pounds now a year?
500,000 to 1 million.
And Meryl and I have a chance to take a little tour to help out a little bit. And we were
Oh, yeah.
actually
You
pretty
did.
helpful.
You were very helpful.
Oh, I know
Yes.
we were. And you know those cherries are really good. They're
Yes.
just
You didn't eat them
wonderful.
off the line though, did you?
But what are you stirring there, Mad Dog? That's really, it's getting nice and
You know,
thick.
number one on the list for us is cherry pies, and it's number one for the nation for cherry pies. At the state fair, every year, Wisconsin State Fair, tell her what the ice cream
Hey
sundae.
man, you gotta go for the cherry sundaes. You gotta go for the cherry sundaes. There is nothing like it. I'll tell you, the flavor is just phenomenal. I've done my share of donating to the Cherry Association for years of buying those sundaes, but it's great.
You know you can actually use the cherry pie fill over ice cream
Ah,
as a cherry sundae.
Yeah.
It's really good.
We use it actually and fluff our nutters with flour tortilla shells.
oh
Really?
yeah.
And make our own little cherry pies with flour
that
tortilla
sounds
shells. Doesn't it, though? Let's talk a little bit about the products here at Cherry Delight. I mean, we can do different breads on the grill, different muffins, scones.
Scones?
Scones,
We've got
thank you.
your scones.
Scones? What the
whichever.
heck? What
That's
the
okay. Yes, we do have oatmeal cookies, cherry oatmeal cookies, and scones, and muffin mix, whole grain brownies. We've got a wide variety of gourmet toppings and salsas and barbecue sauce.
And you're finding more and more people being more creative, definitely with the
Yes.
dried cherries. You know, when you think of really how long, when you first started, now you see them all over the place, all over in the stores. I mean, people, you know, definitely for the health benefits and everything
Right.
else, it's just fantastic.
Yes.
And then speaking of dried cherries, then you also take those cherries and you dip them in chocolates.
Yes, we have dark chocolate, which is absolutely wonderful.
With
and
the
then the
tart
milk.
cherries?
Yes, with
Yeah.
the tart cherries.
And can you
milk chocolate.
can you actually make a cherry bounce with the dried cherries? I know it sounds stupid,
Yeah,
but
you
can you do that?
They reabsorb the alcohol.
Oh boy, I have to try that one too.
And it's a really concentrated flavor because the tart cherry is so
They should have did
concentrated.
that on a couple trips to the moon.
Bring cherries, whatever you do.
You know what's amazing? Now, for years, Meryl and I have been together 30 years for Grillology, and Meryl's always had a problem with the gout.
Yeah.
And the number one thing he's always taken for it, and if we're on the road and he's got problems and he can't walk, cherry juice.
Cherry juice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or dried cherries.
Yep. A handful of cherries, a cup of cherry juice a day.
Yep, I'll tell you what, I'm a firm believer of it. I really am. I use it all the time.
We
And
have
I am a gout man. All you gout people out there, try the cherry, you know, Delight, even for the dried cherries or the cherry juice. You'd be
Yep.
surprised.
It actually has 10 times the strength of an aspirin
Okay.
for
And I
anti-inflammatory
Yeah.
pain relief.
mean, I swear I tell
It
it.
fights the free radicals like Meryl in your system.
That's right.
Yeah, you need that. You need that.
Gotta fight 'em
That's
off.
for sure. Especially when I'm around.
The holiday season is coming upon us very shortly. What can we do? What can we do for Cherry Delight? Do you sell obviously holiday packages and things and ship them all around the world?
We do. We sell a lot of gift boxes in the wintertime, the holiday season. We're shipping them, like you said, all over the world. We're up in Canada. We're all over.
Yeah, and what is the big item? What is probably the number? What is the number one?
Our
item
number one gift box is going to be a combination of our, like an 8-ounce milk chocolate, an 8-ounce dark chocolate, and our Cherry Delights.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
The sauce is ready. The pork tenderloin is over the bed of rice. Meryl beautifully sliced that.
Oh, thank you. I know I'm good for something.
I think as I put, doesn't that sauce look delicious?
Yeah.
It does look good.
Yeah, I think it's done to, I don't want to say perfection.
I think you did it
The correct
perfect.
recipe, and you have recipes on your website. They go to maddogandmeryl.com, click over to Country Ovens.
Correct.
And Country Ovens is just another form of Cherry Delight. It's just your surname.
Yep.
Yeah.
Country Ovens is our business, and Cherry Delight is our product.
Ooh,
Doesn't that look good?
That is
very
awesome.
good. And the aroma. Oh,
Well done.
just make sure that.
Well, Jen, I think from Forestville in Wisconsin,
Thank you, sir.
from Cherry Delight, I think it's time to do a little post.
Okay, thanks.
If you have a comment or suggestion about today's show, contact us at maddogandmeryl.com. And don't forget to friend us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Mad Dog and Meryl's Midwest Grilling. We're in beautiful downtown Sturgeon Bay at the Bridgeport Waterfront Resort. What a gorgeous place.
It is absolutely beautiful out here. I mean, what a great place to vacation at.
It certainly is. Many thanks. Great hosts here at Bridgeport. To Dave, to Jerry, to Gary, and Julie, and all the folks that do work here. Wonderful place. We can't say enough. You know, Meryl, Bridgeport Waterfront Resort is located in downtown Sturgeon Bay. I mean, it makes it close and convenient to just about everything there is in town.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's walking distance to unique shops, art galleries, restaurants, coffee shops, marinas, and more.
I mean, it really is truly beautiful. Whether lounging by the outdoor pool or playing in the indoor splash park like you were.
Hey, I had fun.
Well, that's why I was in the game room.
Hey, whatever your need, the Bridgeport staff is here to make your visit as pleasurable as possible.
You know, Meryl, I'm a little worried because I'm in charge of the Mad Dog and Meryl corporate Christmas party.
Oh, I'm a little worried too, to tell you the truth.
Do you think Bridgeport would be okay to have me?
Well, they have us. I'll tell you what, they've got 3 different types of conference rooms to service anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
So, oh, well, great. Let's go talk to Dave.
All right, that sounds good.
Good,
I mean,
good.
they've got things like if you've got a service group,
Yep.
all right, a reunion or wedding, whatever you need, go see Dave and they'll take care of it for you.
Really? When planning your next trip to Door County, make sure you schedule your next getaway at the Bridgeport Waterfront Resort. I'll tell you what, Meryl, your beef looks delicious. It looks like you got the cart ahead of the horse and you did some nice shredding of it.
I did. I feel like Edward Scissorhands, you know? All right, I shredded the beef. Might have a little bit of howling.
You look like Alfred Hitchcock.
All right, here we go.
Okay, no. So Howling Wolf orange cranberry sauce. It's going to be delicious.
It is.
Meryl shredded the beef that he cooked for so darn long on the grill.
Yep.
Shredded it up. We're going to put those in some great Go Dog buns in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I have my pork steak that I seared up. It's on the grill, and I forgot to mention we're going to do a great little dump sauce here, a dump project. We're going to do a dump project.
A dumb project?
Dump.
Oh,
D-U-M-P.
dump
I'm a
project,
dump.
dump project, okay.
We have some wonderful crisp kraut from Bear Creek, Wisconsin. Remember we were at the Kraut Festival?
Oh, that was a great time. That was a great time.
We were at the Kraut Festival in the early part of August, and what a hoot of a time it was. Great folks, and the whole folks at Crisp Kraut are wonderful. It's tangy, it's fresh. You can find it in the meat case. It's got a lot of zest to it, and I'm simply going to take and I'm going to dump my kraut in each one of these pans, because I have a lot of pork steaks. I need 2 pans.
Okay.
So a full package with the moisture and all in there. Now I have a little bit from the oilery up in Fish Creek here in Door County. This happens to be the pear balsamic vinaigrette.
And you got a pair right there.
I do. I got 2 pair.
2 pair.
What a pair to draw to. And a little bit of just some nice olive oil, just to give a little zest, a little flavor, a little bit of a slipperiness. Now, because we were at our good friends at Cherry Delight, I'm going to add some wonderful of their dried cherries in there, in each one of those, just to give a little color, a little bit of texture over the top. We have some green peppers to add in both. We have some red peppers to add in both. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar.
Holy cow.
I know, everything really, yeah, a little bit of white sugar. And I'll tell you what, I've got some fresh oregano.
Oh, good. I was wondering what that was.
Well, it's oregano, don't worry.
Okay, good. I was worried.
And all we're simply going to do is we're going to shred a little bit of that for flavor. And I used basil a couple times and it worked out just fine too. But I put some fresh oregano in there, and I'm just going to get that stirred up just a tad bit, make sure the moisture's getting going. And we're gonna add our cooked up pork steak over the top of that. Looks like we got a little grease fire, but we'll get rid of that in just a second. Add the pork steak over the top of that.
Good job, sir. It's going to be great.
It certainly is. And all we're simply going to do is cover that up. I'm going to put that back on the grill, and we're going to let that bubble and simmer until that pork steak gets nice and tender for maybe about 20 minutes, direct method of cooking. Cover it with foil. It's going to be wonderful on the grill. Honest to goodness, we're going to have a great eats today.
It is Midwest Grillin', that's for sure.
And Midwest Grillin' will be right back.
View past episodes of our show by going to MadDogAndMerrill.com and click on Midwest Grillin'.
Welcome back to Mad Dog and Merrill's Midwest Grilling. We had a wonderful time today in Bridgeport Waterfront Resort, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I want to thank you for being my guest today. You did a wonderful job. I'm even going to ask Mad Dog to be with me one more time, I think.
And I want to thank you for being my special guest today. Thank you so much.
You know, any time that I could be of help, you just let me know.
Good, good. Well, the garbage needs emptying.
Oh, okay.
Stop it now.
All right. Okay.
You did some wonderful, great pulled pork.
No, I didn't do any pulled pork.
Oh, that's right. You did pulled beef.
I did pulled beef.
I did the pork.
Same way that I did the beef, you can do the same way as the pork. But all I did is I took the chuck roast, browned it up on each side, put it in an 8.5 by 11-inch aluminum drip pan, little dried onion soup mix, little dried gravy mix.
Yep.
You could use beef broth or beer, cover it, sit it back on the grill, good hour and a half.
And it was delicious. And of course, I oiled up from the Wisconsin pork producers some wonderful pork products, seared those up on the grill. We had a great time today. Of course, we used Mad Dog's Grillin' Magic as one of our spices.
Yes.
We had Grandma Hazel's rub on top of Merrill's beef, chuck roast. It was delicious.
Yep.
Didn't have a chance to use our Shake It All Over, but next time we will.
All right, we will. It's good stuff.
Now, we took Merrill's pulled beef, and we packed it in some wonderful Go Dog buns. And what better way? So we packed the pulled beef in the Go Dog buns, and it turned out just delicious. To reiterate a couple other things, we learned all about the pork. Hey, what's this?
What is it? Oh,
That's a meat thermometer. And what a great opportunity
that is a meat thermometer, isn't it?
Why, did you have a temperature earlier?
Yeah, I did.
The meat thermometers are kind of a must nowadays because cuts of meat, like pork, is getting leaner and leaner, which is good, but we have to give it a little more TLC, tender loving care. So meat thermometers, pork is done right around 145 degrees.
Right, yeah it is, We're trying to get people to get down really, if you want to do 165, but 145 pork is done. You won't have a problem.
Well, that's too much education. I want to learn more about that. But each and every week we have lots of fun. We do some grilling and a little bit of education. But I think it's time for the Go Dog buns.
Go Dog?
Grab your Go Dog, Merrill.
Go Dog.
And let's Go Dog. Come on, this way here. Come on, eat. Go Dog. Go Dog. Go Dog. Go Dog. Cameras in reverse. Go Dog. Go Dog. Go Dog bun. Go Dog. Go Dog. Go Dog bun. Goodbye. Happy grilling.
Mad Dog and Merrill's Midwest Grillin' is a production of Lashbro Visual Communications.